I'm going to talk to you about this recipe I'm going to make today while I put on makeup. I'm going to make Thanksgiving turkey meatballs. This morning I was craving Thanksgiving food and I was like, you know what? I got some ground turkey in the refrigerator that needs to be used. So I'm going to make some healthy meatballs. Healthy-ish. So I'm going to go to the store and get some cornbread stuffing, just Stouffer's regular cornbread stuffing, and mix that, about maybe a cup of it, into the meatballs and then I'm going to saute some celery. I left the store without my cranberries, but I was going to go back, but decided not to because when I got home, I was looking in my refrigerator and found out that I still have some from a friend that dropped off a dinner for me. So this has cranberries, blueberries, and cherries, pecans, and sunflower seeds. So I just picked out the pecans and ate them. And then I'm left with the dried fruit, and that'll all go fine in the meat mixture, which is now turkey and sausage mixed, because I had that too. So meatballs are going to be delicious. So I'm just chopping all this up. I already have my... Also, I was thinking of adding some mushrooms to make them more meaty, but then I saw I had that ground sausage, and it's just too much. The turkey, ground sausage, and mushrooms. So I'm going to leave the mushrooms for another dish. Maybe stuffed mushrooms later on this week. The other thing that I always forget about is the half an onion that I put in the refrigerator. This time I didn't. So I'm finally chopping that. And then I'm going to saute the celery, just left with the nub. It's not very good. It's hard. Saute the onions, celery, and all that dried fruit together in some butter, and I have a prized bottle of duck fat. It's not really prized, anyone can get it, but it's prized to me because it's expensive. But just got it at Walmart. Saute all that till it's soft. Also, while I'm waiting for my duck fat and butter to melt and my cast iron skillet to heat up, I've been very leery of purchasing this. It's not freeze dried, but it's partially heat dried chopped herbs. And so I was at Walmart today and I wanted to get some fresh parsley because I wanted a fresh element besides the, and I'm leaning on my cutting board, that's gross. But I wanted some fresh parsley, and they didn't have any parsley that looked good. But so I got this, and it actually looks really good. I don't know if you can see that, but the consistency is very nice. It's chopped pretty evenly, and it's good for the price. Here's a tip about butter that you're melting with another oil. When it stops sizzling and foaming, it is ready for you to add your whatever you're cooking. So just about right now, I can add my stuff that I'm sauteing. And when you saute, you don't want like a big super sizzle. You just want a light sizzle. No more than what that is right now. Okay, we are at a spot where it's time to taste this. I've incorporated the cornbread dressing, the parsley, the chicken base, the poultry seasoning, which is a whole bunch of herbs and a little bit of black pepper and nutmeg. Everything's in here except the eggs, because when I add the raw eggs, I really don't want to taste it if I can, help it. So now is the time to taste for flavor. before I add the meat mixture. So I'm going to get a little bit of everything. I'm going to try to and taste for saltiness, sweetness, everything that I need. So here's the deal. It's just about perfect. Like, it doesn't need any more salt or anything. But I still have to add the 1 egg and an egg yolk and a pound, I think it's a pound of ground turkey and a pound of sausage. When I add that, that's going to take away from the saltiness and sweetness. So then is it going to be less salty? Yes. So I'm going to add a pinch more salt and black pepper, which I have a mixture. I make my own, and I recommend you do too. It's a great way to season food. And maybe a dash more poultry seasoning, but just a little bit. It's just about mixed together, but I wanted to show you, I'm not taking sorry, I should have given you a warning, but it's raw meat. But I'm not taking a spoon and stirring it, taking gloved hands and folding it together, because that is the best method of incorporating something that is this sticky. Ground turkey and ground meat is extremely sticky to work with, and you don't want to stir this mixture in. You just want to gently fold it in. Sunny from the Food Network calls this technique the claw technique, and I like that description, because you just kind of gently. All right, so I have my heat on medium, and these meatballs are, about the size of my less than the size of my palm, and I'm going to brown them on each side and then take them out, and then I'll put them in the oven to finish cooking. I'll brown them on all sides. If they start sticking, which they are, I'll add more oil, which I need to. Also, we have to remember that this isn't a sterile environment. This is just as clean as we can, be safe environment. So I'm not using gloves, I'm just using clean hands, and I'm rolling the meatballs with clean hands. But I'm spraying my hands with a little bit of oil first, and that helps with the stickiness. Also, instead of using those tongs, if you use 2 spoons to turn the meatball, kind of like a game of, I don't know, using like chopsticks or something, it's much easier to turn the meatball with 2 spoons rather than squish the meatball with tongs, and it's just easier to handle it with 2 spoons. I don't know where I learned that from, or if I invented it. I might have invented that. And because these meatballs are super tender, not too tender, but they're going to be very tender because they're cooked at the right temperature. They're not overcooked. I used half milk, half chicken broth, and this technique that I'm about to show you allows them to cook properly. They're not necessarily meat balls. Some are meat triangles. You'll see. See the shape? They're not balls. They're just meat shapes. Yeah. But sticking them in these holes allows everything to drip down and, cook right. Y'all, I was talking on a story, sorry. These meatballs are unbelievable. I accidentally overcooked them by just a little bit, but that's because I forgot I put them on convection bake. So just remember, if you have an oven that does convection, to remember that, because I forgot. But if you use milk in your meatballs, that ensures a more tender meatball, and it definitely did. This is Thanksgiving in a meatball shape. Very good.